A very good evening once again, and many thanks for staying with us right here on the NTV Weekend Edition. This is Talk of the Nation, and my name is Romeo Bisiku. The Ministry of Education is in the middle of preparations to celebrate 10 years of increased emphasis on vocational education through improved assessment of educational courses through UBTEB. Tonight, we ask what has been achieved in this time. To help us appreciate this, we have Dr. WILFRED NAHAMYA, the Deputy Executive Secretary, Examinations Management at the Uganda Business Technical Examinations Board, and he joins me right now on set. Mr. Nahamya, in brief, we want to know what has the sector achieved the last decade following the TVET reforms and skills development agenda?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Bisiku, and good evening, viewers. The sector has achieved a lot in terms of reforms, and as far as Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, which really represents the sector, we've gone along. The numbers of students joining TVET has gone on increasing. We started assessing students in 2011, and they were less than 25,000. But now
less
the
than
number
21,000.
Yes, but the number has now gone to over, actually over 80,000, and they are really bridging towards the 100,000. But most important is that whereas the number of girls for joining technical vocational education is still very low, but the trends have been increasing.
So at this moment we are talking about 80,000 students that are clamoring for technical education. And we also do know that 60,000 of these actually did register for the examinations that you did hold in 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
The 2020 examinations. And also when you did release these examinations, we did notice that only 50,000 actually did sit for these examinations. Why was there, a gap in the number of students who sat for these examinations?
Of course, partly is the lockdown, which started in 2020, and some of the students were not able to register. Others would not be taken on by for industrial training, and so they couldn't complete. But most important, I was saying that among the milestones, there has been a lot achieved. The sector has gone into automation. We use it, for example, to register students by the registrars coming to Kampala and register at our secretariat, but that is no longer the case. They can register online, they can access their results online, they can print testimonials online, and they can even upload the continuous assessment marks online, and that to me is a very, very great achievement.
And the viewer wants to know, where does the role of the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board come in terms of skills development, Dr. Nahamya?
Yes, it comes in because in terms of assessing projects, we introduced real-life projects. What used to happen is that people used to train on models, but now students come out of the school system when they can create, when they can work on final products which have actually market value. Those in building, there are a number of those students that have come up and they have constructed buildings, teachers' quarters, and others, and we do it in such a way that it's a combination. A combination, you bring those doing plumbing, you bring those doing main civil, you bring those who are doing electrical, and of course supervised by their instructors and lecturers. They have come up with very interesting pieces of work. Yes.
We note that there have been changes in the growth patterns in the TVET delivery and assessment. How has this helped?
Yes, the growth pattern has been changing, and you may be aware that in around 2010, came up with the BTVET Act, which among others was emphasizing a paradigm shift.
Wasn't that 2008?
Yes, around there, 2008, yes, and now it's being revised. But this BTVET Act has, there is a BTVET strategic plan, which was 2010, and then the BTVET Act of 2008. So, but the plan was emphasizing a paradigm shift. And then later, certain things were not coming up as expected. And that's why recently, as you may be aware, there was now a need for overhauling the whole system. And it came up with the TVET policy, which among others, 2019, which among others emphasizes competence-based training, but also an employer-led kind of system. Because at first we discovered that employers were not playing a very major role, and we want them to play a very, very key role in terms of curriculum development, in terms of assessment, because it doesn't pay for one to critique the system that the graduates are not measuring up to the demands of the world of work, and yet the employers are not participating. So
focusing on the Business and Technical Vocational Education and Training Act of 2008, you do have educationists who are saying we need to either repeal this law or actually make some amendments to the law to fit, the new demands coming in from the labor market. How important would this move be?
I think my personal thinking would be that you may not need to repeal that law. You actually need to overhaul it. Because you have the Education Act, you have the BTVET Act, but you have also contradictions within the University and Other Tertiary Institutions Act. So whereas the University and Other Tertiary Institutions Act allow some of allow the tertiary institutions, those that are offering diploma training and assessment, to assess themselves, the BTVET Act does the contrary. So, and that brings in those contradictions. So there is need now to overhaul the
Indeed. And of course, Dr. Karukuza, we also do know that under this new law, money is coming in actually from the central government. And according to the educationists, they say this delays the funding of their programs. What else should we be amending in this law? Yes,
you know what? Whereas the BTVET Act mentioned of the skills levy, it remained redundant.
I see.
And it was not doing much. But also the employers were a bit hesitant on whether government can control that fund. So the new proposals, the new reforms are proposing a skills development fund. And the proposals are in advanced stages. But we want in this law the employers take the key lead, to take the lead in as far as managing that fund is concerned, because they need to contribute towards the training of the graduates, because they need them more as much as we also need them.
Dr. Nahamya, on top of that, there is also talk of the creation or establishment of a Technical Vocational Education and Training Council. How significant would the establishment of this council be to, TVET skills and reforms agenda?
I think the TVET council, once formed, is going to really play a very, very important role. Yes, that maybe the university, the National Council for Higher Education will concentrate on universities, but as far as the TVET training, the regulation would be handled by the TVET council. But most important is that we are looking at a system where, we have been having a system which mixes. Somebody trains in the TVET sector and the general education, and then later they mix. When they are doing somebody has been doing a certificate in, say, plumbing, and then he does a diploma in water engineering, and for the last 4 or so years for certificate, but then when they go to the university, he's combined with a student, a fresh one who has done whatever PM or PCM, and this person only knows the theory. He knows a very good
people are
stuff
being mixed
from
up at the higher level.
And it doesn't add up.
And that's why we need to be actually creating
so
maybe a university for
there is already a proposal for a technology university, and that's how most countries are doing.
I've heard you've already purchased land at Chambogo University.
What?
To actually start building this structure.
Yes. Of course, we went into that, which I can really call madness of universities. Otherwise, if they were moving with the then UPK, I think it was a very, very good system. We didn't need to rush into forming it in university. But we are the good chance is that we are going back.
All right.
We are going back to it.
Dr. Wilfred, talk to us about the next 10 years of technical vocational education and training reforms and the skills development agenda.
Yes,
what does it look like?
The next 10 years is it's showing very good, it's giving very good hope. We are looking at issues of employer-led, employers taking the lead in the curriculum development. We are looking at a modularization of assessment. You know, our training is very, very expensive, but we want to make it very flexible through bringing up packages in terms of modules.
Indeed.
You don't need to study a lot of electrical installation, yet you can come and pick up solar energy installation and go and earn a living.
Indeed.
So we are moving there into those reforms. We are moving into creating working groups in form of sector skills council. We want the different sectors to play a role.
Indeed.
We want to bring in the employers so that we see what is it that the employers want in the training.
Of course, UBTEB shall be celebrating 10 years on Tuesday next week. Bring us up to speed with the activities that you have lined up to celebrate this.
Yes, we are celebrating. We are launching the celebrations of 10 years at Hotel Mistir here in Kampala.
Right.
And the function will be presided over by the Honorable Minister of Education. That would really be the start of the several activities. Indeed. But it has a number of other activities. We hope that these activities would be climax with a conference, and in this conference we have called for papers. People in the TVET experts, they can come and present papers which can help us tease out what is very, very good for this country, what is very, very good for the TVET subsector. But we are also moving on to launch the construction of our assessment center.
Indeed.
We want to develop a kind of resource center. We want to put item development, a test development center at Chambogo Hill because we have had land there.
Indeed.
So we just hope that these reforms are going to make wonders.
The future looks bright. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. WILFRED NAHAMYA, for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Siku.
And of course, you are still watching NTV Weekend Edition. Let's take a breather. Return shortly.